Hello, I'm going to start today off with a little speech. Not necessarily a speech. I've been using POR 15 since the early 80s, maybe the end of the 70s. I used to be a street rider, and I never had no problem with it. And I've been hearing a lot of negative things about it. That's why I wanted to say something. I've used it with success. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm not saying anything. I'm not sponsored. I'm just saying I never had no trouble with it. But like anything else, when you're building a house, don't matter how good a house you build, if you don't build a good foundation. And you know, there's instructions on the can, and I know a lot of people don't read them. I used to not read stuff like that either myself, but I realize now how important they are. You know, there's a process. You got to clean most of that loose rust off. I even go forward and wire brush it. Then I hit it a lot of times with Scotch-Brite pad to rough it up a little bit. Then I use a degreaser and a tar remover. And I clean it all down as far as I could and get it in nice shape. And then I put a metal prep on there. And after metal prep dries, I wipe that down with a little bit of acetone on a brush, on a rag, excuse me. And then I put the POR 15 on. And on the can it says they want at least 2 coats. And you're supposed to put those coats on thin as possible. A lot of people load it on heavy, think they're doing themselves a favor, but no, thin as possible. At least 2 coats. You could put more on if you want, and you don't put the second coat on until you feel it starting to tack up a little bit, where you could touch it and your fingerprints there, but it's not, the paint isn't on your finger. That's when you want to put the second coat on, and if you put a third, you want the same rule. And if it's exposed to the sun at all, and you want to put a top coat on it, a different color, that's when you put the top coat on after it starts to tack up again. Or you could even Bondo after with it on that, but you got to wait for it to tack up. Or if you wait for it to harden, you could rough it up with some 320 sandpaper and then do whatever else you want to do. Put a top coat on it, put some Bondo on it, do whatever. But you got to follow the instructions. Okay, I'm done preaching. I just thought I'd put that out there because I know a lot of people who don't use this stuff. You know, they hear negativity and then they don't know what to do. They're unsure. So I'm just saying, in my case, I've never had no trouble. But I try to follow the rules to the best I can. And because I want things to work the best to my ability. So that's what I do. So I'm going to put a couple clips of doing it here. Tomorrow I'm going to flip it back over and I'm going to start taking the body down to bare metal. But I'm not doing nothing today because I want it to cure for at least 24 hours and then I'll flip it back over tomorrow. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy your project. First coat. I'll come back in 2 hours and hit it again. Second coat completed. Looks pretty good.